you went on, and it's sort of folklore at Channel 4 that you chose the subject of your next series, which was, of course, taste. And what appealed to you about that?
It was, well, me and Neil were having conversations about what we really wanted to talk about. And I've always been obsessed with class. And it came out of, I really loved the series, the Nick Barker series, Sign of the Times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was one of my, I always quoted it as one of my most sort of seminal television experiences. And I love Martin Parr and his work. And so I was always interested in that kind of visual culture of class. And so it was just something I thought of. So we thought, and you know, how the format, the kind of, if it is a format of how we make our television programs, it happened very organically. I mean, Tabitha Jackson, who was the commissioning editor then, you know, I remember the conversation. She said, "Okay, I want you to really author this program," you know, like, and I said, "Well, I'm an artist." She said, "Well, make some art then," and it was like, ping. At that, and then the first day of shooting was one of the upper class programs, you know, and I was going, "Oh, I don't know if this is going to work." I'm not only making art in public, I'm actually doing the research and being inspired in public as well. You know, this is a lot of pressure. I feel really exposed. And Neil, you know, bless him, he sort of sat me down and said, "I don't care," he said, "if you do a green triangle and a blue square, as long as you can talk about it at the end of the program, I really don't mind." And I thought, "Oh, great, that makes me feel a lot better, Neil, thanks." Of course, you know, he didn't want me to do a blue square and a green triangle.
He was lying.
You know, brilliant director. You know, he got me to do what he wanted.
Did you think, Grayson, when you were doing that, because you were travelling up and down the country at a time, in retrospect, there was huge change, the beginning of the signs that probably led to Brexit, actually. Did you think of yourself as a sort of social anthropologist? Did you think you were reinventing arts programming? How would you have described what you were in the process of doing?
I was genuinely just having a curious research trip, and I really wanted to understand things. You know, I want to sort of get to grip. Like I said earlier, I liked little revelations, and I want people to convince me. Whenever I'm having a conversation with anybody on camera, if they can challenge my preconceptions and convince me, I'll go, "Oh, great, that's nice." If I'm learning, because the people at home will get that, and that's like a little jolt of a drug. You know, it's a drug of learning, of, you know, progressing. And I'm thinking, that's great, I like that. So thank you.
Did you come away at the end of that series, because it's a theme that runs through all three programmes, that in a sense people don't actually have taste. Taste is just a way of demonstrating that they've moved up in the world, slightly in the way that John Cleese sketch memorably talks about looking down on people. So
I think there's a different dynamic for each class. You know, I think the working class taste, there was a strong element of sort of social cohesion about it, and signalling that you're part of the tribe, and so a lot of the kind of, like, it was all in clothes and cars, you know, most of the effort, because that was all about the communal, I thought. Whereas the middle class one, there was more of a home thing, and it was also showing you a kind of worthy. It was like a kind of contemporary Christianity, you know. So you're showing your green credentials. There was a lot of talk about greenness and organic and health and all that sort of stuff. Whereas the upper class thing, it was like almost about showing how long it is since you last changed. You haven't changed. Everything was crumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, what's amazing when we look at that is it's not just that you're making a documentary, as you were referring to earlier, going through your mind at all times as you're coming up with an elaborate art piece. And in this case, a medium you've not really worked in before, 6 massive tapestries.
Yeah.
Why did you land on tapestry, and what was that like?
Well, curiously, it was really because of time, because telly wants everything yesterday.
That's me.
And
that wants
so to make, and also, you know, you wanted to make something that was big enough to sort of get people to stand in front of. And tapestry, actually, curiously, I mean, I could get the drawing done relatively quickly and then send it off, and the work would be done by the big machine. So we could turn it, I think we turned it round in about 6 months from the end of the shooting to the final payoff.
Was that a weird experience though? Because it's all being done in Belgium, wasn't it? So you were doing the artwork, and then it was going to this huge loom. So you were at one remove from the artistic process. Was that odd?
Well, I always have a bit of the tapestry next to me, so that I'm kind of aware of the materiality of it, because I love high-tech stuff and digital, but you always have to sort of somehow be aware of that. You've got to allow the material to sort of have a say, otherwise it becomes this sort of digital perfection, which is a bit unlovable.
Mm-hmm. And did it matter to you at the end that it was a big moment, wasn't it, when you showed the various communities the artwork? Did it matter to you that it resonated with them?
Yeah, I mean, you did. Yeah, I mean, I think that I wanted to make it a thing that they felt like they were really glad to have been a part of. And I mean, one of the tapestries, one of the upper class tapestries, is actually in the guy who inspired its house at the moment, because they had this tapestry in the bedroom where I stayed that kind of got a bit rotty. And so he said, he just wrote to me, he said, have you got a tapestry we could borrow to put up while our tapestries restore? I said, I'm going to lend you the tapestry of you.
Just
and they
horrifying.
love it, and I think it was on the news and stuff. I thought that was great. That was perfect poetry.